The 15th of August 2018, FBI Philip Jones interviewed Luke EPPLE. This interview was conducted after Agent Tammy Lee interviewed Luke the 14th of August 2018. Luke EPPLE was interviewed at his place of employment, Anadarko Petroleum Corporation. Agent Greg Zentner, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, was also present during the course of the interview. After being advised of the identities of the interviewing agents and the nature of the interview, EPPLE provided the following information. EPPLE is Christopher Watts' direct supervisor, and he has been Watts' supervisor since approximately April 2016. Watts is a field coordinator, so he is EPPLE's go-to person when maintenance issues arise. EPPLE tries to get into the oil field as much as possible, and he tends to split his time at approximately 60% in the field and 40% in the Anadarko office. EPPLE is essentially the foreman for Anadarko sites spanning between U.S. Highway 85, Weld County Road 22, Survey Ranch and Denver International Airport. EPPLE described Watts as quiet and a great employee. Watts has never had issues about showing up to work or being on time. Watts' children have had some health issues, but Watts has always called EPPLE to advise him if he needed to take time off to tend to his children. Watts is an introvert, and he does not like attention. He does not get excited, but since the disappearance of Watts' family, he had appeared on edge and flustered. Watts told EPPLE that he had nothing to hide, and he had moved his work truck away from his house in order to protect Anadarko from any media attention. EPPLE does not believe Watts has any family in Colorado, and EPPLE is not familiar with any of Watts' friends. EPPLE believes Watts moved to Colorado because he and Shanann visited on vacation and liked the state. EPPLE is not aware of any grievances against Watts or his family. EPPLE has no reason to believe anyone would jeopardize the safety of Watts' family. Watts had scheduled time off from the 31st of July through the 7th of August 2018 in approximately June 2018. Watts returned to work on August the 8th and 9th. And he took the 10th of August off. Watts is currently working Monday through Friday shifts, which he has worked for approximately the past year. A typical shift begins at approximately 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. and ends at 3 p.m. or 3:30 p.m. An employee's shift begins when the employee arrives at either the office or the worksite, and this is largely based on an honor system. Employees input time information into an online time card. Watts does not work weekends. Watts does not generally discuss his personal life to include his wife with EPPLE. And he generally does not talk much. EPPLE and Watts do not associate with each other outside work. EPPLE considers an employee's personal life to be personal as long as it does not affect work performance. EPPLE was aware that Watts was having some marital issues, but he was not aware of specific details. EPPLE last physically saw Watts on or about Thursday the 9th of August 2018. After Watts' family was reported missing, Watts told EPPLE that he may be staying with a friend in the event EPPLE saw unusual activity on his work truck's geo-tab monitoring. EPPLE explained that Watts was aware that his truck had GPS monitoring that was tracked by Anadarko. Work trucks can be used for minor deviations to and from work, and Watts told EPPLE that he would not be staying too far from his home address. EPPLE explained that geo-tab pulls location data approximately every 5 to 100 seconds. Geo-tab documents other information such as when the vehicle is turned on and off. Anadarko switched to geo-tab from another provider in approximately May or June 2018. On Monday the 13th of August 2018, Watts went directly from his home to Survey Ranch 319 with follow-up work at Union Pacific Railroad Company, UPRC, 1029. EPPLE is not sure when Watts actually arrived at Survey 319. EPPLE generally arrives at the Anadarko office around 6 or 6:30 a.m. And he saw Chad McNeil and Melissa Parrish at the office at approximately 6:30 a.m. on Monday. EPPLE believes that Watts posted on GroupMe that he was at Survey 319. Maintenance at Survey 319 and UPRC 1029 on Monday the 13th was basic, routine stuff. Watts and the other operators were troubleshooting a line at Survey 319, which should be easily accomplished. Operators would have a checklist to follow that would likely take a couple of hours to complete. This would involve isolating the problematic line in order to repair it. Survey 319 and UPRC 1029 are not monitored by video or any method of access control. What's left the batteries in the early afternoon? Watts called EPPLE and told him something to the effect of, "I can't get hold of Shanann. She's not home, and she should be there." EPPLE heard from Watts via telephone again later Monday. EPPLE's superintendent had asked EPPLE how Watts was doing, and EPPLE requested an update from Watts. Watts explained that his wife's wallet, purse, keys, and identification card were at his house. Watts had gone to his neighbor's house and asked to review the neighbor's security camera. Watts noted that he had not seen any activity except when he got into his work truck in the morning and departed for work. Watts had discussed returning to work with EPPLE. EPPLE had devised a potential plan that would have involved Watts shadowing EPPLE, but that plan was ultimately denied by EPPLE's supervisor, Tony Husky. EPPLE did not recall Watts saying anything odd following the disappearance of his family. Watts appeared to be flustered during phone conversations with EPPLE following the disappearance. EPPLE provided verbal consent for interviewing agents to review and record the content of text messages sent between EPPLE and Watts. These messages are maintained on a disk in a 1A envelope associated with this document.